When my girlfriend, Emily, got back from her 10-day work trip to California, something was different. At first, it was the little things. She hugged me at the airport, but it felt mechanical, like she was acting out a scene she'd practiced in her head. Her smile didn't reach her eyes. Normally, she'd chatter nonstop on the drive home, telling me about every delay, every quirky person she met on the plane, every detail she thought I'd care about, even the snacks. But this time, silence. I asked, "So, how was the trip?" She said, "Fine. Just busy." And then she looked out the window, as if the conversation was already over. I tried not to overthink it. I mean, people get tired, right? Maybe she was just drained from long flights and meetings. That's what I told myself. But by the second day, I couldn't ignore it anymore. Emily used to laugh at my terrible cooking attempts, sometimes even joining me in the kitchen to fix whatever disaster I was creating. Now, she barely ate with me. She'd make excuses, "Oh, I already grabbed something," or "I'm not really hungry." Nights were worse. We used to fall asleep tangled together, her head on my chest, like she wanted to be close even when unconscious. Now, she lay on the far edge of the bed, scrolling on her phone until her eyes shut. When I reached for her hand, she pulled away like it burned her. I'd lie awake, staring at the ceiling, wondering what went wrong in just 10 days. The first real crack showed up on the third night. We were watching TV together, or at least I was. She sat there, scrolling endlessly. The light from her phone glowed on her face, sharp and cold. "Emily," I said softly, "is everything okay?" She didn't look up. "Yeah. Why?" "Because you're different. Since you came back, it feels like you're somewhere else. With someone else." That finally made her pause. She lowered the phone slowly, her eyes starting to me like I'd caught her in something. Then she forced a smile. "Too quick. Too fake." "You're imagining things," she said. "I'm just stressed from work." But the way she said it, the clipped tone, the lack of warmth, told me she was hiding something. I kept trying to shake it off, but her behavior only grew stranger. She guarded her phone like it was made of glass. If I walked into the room, she'd flip it face down or lock it instantly. When she took calls, she left the apartment entirely, standing out in the hall like she didn't want me to hear a single word. Once, I caught her whispering, "I can't talk right now," before she noticed me and hung up so fast her hands trembled. When I asked who it was, she said, "Just work." But since when did work make you sound guilty? The old Emily, the one I knew, never kept secrets. She'd even read her texts out loud to me sometimes, just because she thought it was funny when her coworkers sent memes. This Emily was a stranger, a locked box I didn't have the key to. I told myself maybe I was being paranoid. Maybe I was turning into that jealous boyfriend stereotype I never wanted to be. But then, I saw it. On Saturday, she was in the shower when her phone buzzed on the nightstand. Normally, I'd never touch it. I'm not the type to snoop. But something inside me, some sick, gnawing feeling, forced my hand. The screen lit up with a message. Just one word. "Tonight?" From a number not saved in her contacts. My blood turned to ice. I wanted to unlock the phone, but she had a new passcode. When did she even change it? My stomach churned as I placed the phone back exactly where it was, pretending nothing had happened. When she came out of the shower, hair damp and smelling of lavender shampoo, she gave me a glance that felt more like suspicion than affection, like she knew I'd been too close to her secrets. That night, she told me she was meeting an old college friend for dinner. "Which friend?" I asked. She hesitated, just for a second. But it was enough. "Jessica," she said finally. Jessica, the name she always used when she was lying. The imaginary friend who covered her tracks. I nodded like I believed her, but inside I was breaking apart. The woman I loved, the woman I thought I'd spend my life with, was slipping through my fingers, and I had no idea how to hold on. Still, I couldn't confront her. Not yet. Because if I asked the question outright, if I forced the truth into the open, I knew there'd be no going back. And some part of me wasn't ready to lose her. Not yet. So I did something I never thought I'd do. Something I swore I'd never become. I followed her. The first night she was back, I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw the way she looked at me earlier, her smile polite, distant, like she was talking to a stranger she barely remembered. I told myself I was overthinking. Jet lag. Maybe the trip had been exhausting. But when I reached for her hand under the blanket, she pulled it away gently, murmuring, "I'm too tired." It was such a small thing, but it felt like a wall going up between us. The next morning, I made pancakes, her favorite. Blueberry with the crispy edges the way she liked. I wanted things to feel normal again. But when she walked into the kitchen, she didn't even notice. Instead, she set her phone on the counter, screen face down, and poured herself a glass of water. No hug, no kiss, not even a good morning. I asked, "Did you sleep okay?" She shrugged. "Fine." That's when I noticed something new. She was wearing a necklace. A thin silver chain with a small charm. Something I'd never seen before. "That's pretty," I said casually. "When did you get it?" She hesitated. Just for a second. But long enough for me to notice. "Oh, just picked it up at a little shop on the trip," she said quickly, tucking it under her shirt like it was nothing. But the way she did it made my stomach twist. For the rest of the day, she kept checking her phone, turning it over whenever I walked past, smiling at messages she never let me see. And every time she caught me looking, she'd change the subject. By the end of the week, I felt like I was living with a stranger. She'd come home late, saying she was out with friends. She started putting a passcode on her phone, something she'd never done before. And at night, when I reached for her, she'd roll over and pretend to be asleep. But the worst part wasn't the distance. It was the silence. Like she was carrying a secret so heavy, it was pulling her further and further away from me. One night, I couldn't take it anymore. I asked her directly, "Is there someone else?" Her eyes flashed hurt, anger, maybe even guilt, before she looked away. "I can't believe you'd even ask me that," she whispered. But she didn't say no. And that silence broke me. The next morning, while she was in the shower, her phone buzzed on the nightstand. I told myself I wouldn't look. I told myself I trusted her. But my hands moved before my brain could stop them. The screen lit up. A message preview. From a name I didn't recognize. It read, "Last night was perfect. I miss you already." My chest tightened. My vision blurred. And in that moment, I knew, whatever she brought back from that trip, it wasn't just souvenirs. It was a secret that could destroy everything we had. I thought the conversation was over that night. I thought she'd let it go. But I was wrong. Because the next morning, she wasn't in bed. Her side was cold. I stumbled into the kitchen, and there she was sitting at the table with her laptop open, coffee in hand, typing furiously. I froze in the doorway. "Morning," I said, trying to sound casual. She didn't look up, didn't even blink. Finally, after an unbearably long silence, she closed the laptop with a soft click and looked at me. "You know," she said, "you've gotten predictable. Same routine, same places, same friends, same life." It was the way she said it, calm, but edged with something sharp that made my stomach twist. Predictable. Like I was boring. I laughed nervously. "Yeah, well, I guess that's adulthood, right? Stability." But she shook her head. "No, it's weakness." That word. Weakness. It hit me like a slap. This wasn't the girl who used to call me her rock, who told me I made her feel safe. This was someone who looked at me like I wasn't enough anymore. And then she stood up, kissed me on the cheek like nothing had happened, and said she was meeting a friend for brunch. A friend I'd never heard of before. I wanted to ask questions, but the words died in my throat. Instead, I watched her walk out the door, her perfume lingering in the air long after she was gone. That day, I tried to distract myself. I went to the gym, scrolled on my phone, even called my buddy Mark to hang out. But my mind kept circling back. Who was she meeting? Why did she seem different? That night, she came home late. Too late. Her hair was windblown, her lipstick smudged, but she smiled at me like everything was normal. "Sorry, lost track of time," she said. And for the first time since we'd been together, I didn't believe her. The days blurred after that. Every time she left the house, I felt a knot in my chest. She had new clothes, new friends, new habits. One night, I finally asked, "Why don't you invite me along? I'd love to meet these friends." She just gave me this pitying smile, like I was some clueless kid. "They wouldn't get you," she said softly. "They're different. Different." That word again. It felt like she was building a wall brick by brick between us, and I was on the outside, straining to hear through the cracks. Then came the night that changed everything. I woke up around 2 a.m. and realized she wasn't in bed. I searched the apartment, living room, kitchen, bathroom empty. But then I saw it. Her phone, left on the couch. The screen lit up with a notification. I hesitated. I knew it was wrong. But I tapped the screen anyway. And what I saw made my blood run cold. A string of messages from a number with no name saved. But the words burned themselves into my memory. "Last night was incredible. I can't stop thinking about you. When's the next time you can sneak out? He'll never understand us." I dropped the phone like it burned me. And that's when I heard the sound of the key turning in the lock. She was home. I never thought a single word could change everything. But when Emma whispered Stockholm, it felt like the floor dropped out from under me. My mind raced. Stockholm wasn't just a random city. It was where her company's head office was based. It was also where her ex, Daniel, had moved after their breakup. The pieces I had been shoving aside suddenly lined up. The secret smiles at her phone. The late-night texts. The walls she had been putting up between us. The sudden coldness, followed by moments of forced affection. I wanted to believe this was about her job, but my gut screamed otherwise. The next morning, I couldn't take it anymore. While she showered, I picked up her phone. It was wrong, I knew that. But when you feel your entire relationship slipping through your fingers, desperation overrides guilt. I opened her messages. Most were work-related. But then I saw a thread labeled simply, D. My hands shook as I opened it. The first message I read made my chest tighten. "Last night was incredible. I can't stop thinking about you." The second one shattered me completely. "Don't worry, he doesn't suspect a thing. When the time is right, I'll tell him." I dropped the phone as though it had burned me. My vision blurred. My ears rang. It felt like my entire world had just gone silent. Emma came out of the bathroom, her hair damp, humming softly. When she saw my face, her smile faltered. "Alex, what's wrong?" I couldn't speak. I couldn't breathe. All I could do was point at the phone on the bed. Her eyes widened, then darted down. Her silence was louder than any scream. Finally, she whispered, "You weren't supposed to find out like this." That single sentence broke me more than the messages themselves. Because it wasn't denial. It wasn't an apology. It was confirmation. I stood up, shaking. "How long?" I asked, my voice cracking. She closed her eyes. "A few months. A few months." That meant before her trip. That meant the woman I kissed goodbye at the airport had already been lying to me. "You looked me in the eye," I said, tears blurring my vision. "And told me you loved me. And the whole time." She stepped forward, reaching for me. But I flinched back as though her touch was poison. "Alex, please." "No," I shouted. "Don't you dare say my name like that." The silence after that was suffocating. She tried to explain, saying she hadn't meant for it to happen. That reconnecting with Daniel had been unexpected. That she was confused. But every word felt like a knife twisting deeper. I had given her everything. My trust, my loyalty, my heart. And she had gambled it all away for someone who had already left her once. That night, I couldn't stay in the apartment. I walked. For hours. Through empty streets, past neon lights and closed diners. My phone buzzed with her messages. Apologies, please, excuses. But I couldn't bring myself to open them. I finally sat on a park bench as the sun started to rise. Exhaustion weighed heavy on me. But beneath the exhaustion was something else. A spark of clarity. I couldn't unsee what I had read. I couldn't unknow what I now knew. And for the first time since Emma came back from her trip, I felt the truth settle in my bones. Our relationship wasn't just broken. It was gone. But I wasn't ready to disappear quietly. If she thought she could play me for a fool. If she thought I would fade into the background while she lived a double life. She had no idea who she was dealing with. because I was about to make sure Emma and Daniel regretted ever underestimating me. I never thought healing would look like this: messy, painful, but freeing all at once. After I cut ties with Emily for good, I expected loneliness to consume me. I mean, after years of building my life around someone, how could I not feel empty? But instead, I felt light. No more checking her phone when she left it face down. No more wondering why she was smiling at texts that weren't from me. No more convincing myself that the person who was tearing me apart was somehow still the one who loved me. Emily tried to crawl back once. Weeks later, she showed up at my apartment door. Her eyes were puffy, her hair messy, her voice shaking. She begged, literally begged, for another chance. She said, "It was just confusion. I still love you. Please, we can start fresh." But here's the thing. By then, I had already learned the hardest, most liberating truth. Love without respect isn't love. It's a leash. And I wasn't going back on the leash. So I told her something I never thought I'd be strong enough to say. "I loved you more than anyone, Emily. But I finally love myself more. And that means letting you go." She cried. She yelled. She slammed the door. And just like that, she was gone. Was it painful? Yes. But was it freedom? Absolutely. Months passed. Slowly, I began piecing myself back together. I went to the gym. I reconnected with old friends, the ones Emily pushed away. I even started journaling, just to untangle the mess in my head. For the first time in years, I wasn't walking on eggshells. I wasn't shrinking myself to fit into someone else's definition of love. And then, something unexpected happened. One night, I was at a friend's birthday party. The music was loud, the laughter louder. I wasn't looking for anything, but across the room, I caught someone's eyes. Not Emily's. Not her shadow. Not her ghost. Someone new. Someone kind. She didn't come with games. She didn't come with baggage. She came with honesty, with laughter, with ease. And I realized love doesn't have to break you to be real. Looking back now, I don't hate Emily. She taught me something I never would have learned otherwise. That betrayal can destroy you, but it can also remake you. Because sometimes the worst heartbreak doesn't mark the end of your story. It marks the beginning of the one you were meant to write all along. And mine? It's just getting started. She thought she broke me, but in the end, she built someone she can never hurt again.